Hello and welcome to another episode of All the Mods 9. Today, we're going to be breezing our way through high voltage. As you can see behind me, we've got the clean room still, and I've done a little bit of work between episodes. I put down a wireless connector. There's a P2P tunnel just touching it. So we've got 32 channels there, and that connector comes straight over to this connector to output 32 channels. And currently I just have 8 pattern providers all lined up. I want to make sure I've set these to blocking mode. While I'm thinking about it. And between episodes we did a little bit of work. I replaced all of our LV machines here, our oxygen line, with high voltage ones. This thing is so fast now it doesn't even tell me in the tooltip. Oh, 2 ticks. 2 ticks in operation. Our saltwater electrolysis is still going strong. We're getting chlorine, but now at high voltage. And our sulfuric acid is still set up the way we had it before, but now at high voltage. I also replaced our machines that were macerating ore with high voltage ones. So instead of 20 seconds a recipe, it's now 5 seconds a recipe. However, at high voltage, I had to introduce this chest right here to catch the outputs of the first macerator. Because when macerating raw ore, you have a chance at 50% for a second one, 25 for a third piece, 12.5 for a fourth piece, and each one of these is independent. So you could roll and get all 4, you could get 3, you could get 2, or you could get unlucky and just get 1. But because 1 raw ore is now possibly giving us 4, I couldn't just have my modular router send it directly to the ore washer. I had to make a little buffer chest here. And I just piped, not very fast, not upgraded or anything, the items into the ore washer. And then as before, it gets centrifuged and macerated again. And I did the same thing over here for bauxite, for whenever we need to do sodium persulfate. Speaking of, it looks like we need some sodium persulfate, so I'm going to order 500 buckets so we can process bauxite when we need gallium. We've got 2,000, so we're good for now. The only things I haven't upgraded would be like the macerator, compressor, fluid solidifier, and this circuit assembler that are all connected to this blast furnace. So all of this is still at low voltage, or I guess medium voltage. And everything over here is still medium voltage, or in this case, high voltage for the blast furnace. I also ordered a bunch of stainless steel between episodes to just let it cook overnight, which I think did us some good. But let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna set it up like I did the other side, where I have the power line going along the top, and then behind the machines I've got the pattern providers. And we have to soft mallet as always. Place our flux point. And I made 5 laser engravers. Reason being, and I'm putting them in the clean room, because looking at, laser engraver recipes, At medium voltage, it does not require the clean room. However, at high voltage, which I made these at, if we use the phosphorus doped wafer, it does require a clean room. So I figured I'd plan ahead a little bit there. Also made a cutter, 2 chemical reactors and a chemical bath, as well as the autoclave and an extra ore washer. I made that on accident. Now I don't think the only other thing that needs to go in is this medium voltage circuit assembler. What we can do for that is actually craft a high voltage or a medium voltage transformer. We only need 1 amp to go to 4 amps. So, not sure how this starts out. I believe that it's meant to start in the transform down setting, so it accepts 1 amp of high voltage and outputs 4 amps of medium voltage. However, it doesn't look like it's getting any power and that the internal buffer is empty. So if I rotate it, does that change? Or is this a case of I have to update the wire? I have to do both. Okay. So if the buffer is 1024 EU, that is 4 amps of medium voltage. So it is in the correct setting. I can now safely place my circuit assembler right here and nothing goes boom. Even though this is medium voltage, this line is high voltage. We've got ourselves a transformer taking the high voltage, turning it into medium, which we can then power this circuit assembler with. Cool. And we can put down our chemical reactor. And I guess I should wire up all these other machines. Same thing as before. Oh, sorry. I had to sneeze. Same thing as before though, we want to configure all our machines to auto output fluids and items into the back and allow them to be input from the same side. Made 5 laser engravers here because we have, well, we will have 5 lenses. And I need the patterns from our laser engraver that was over here. Since we got a new cutter, I can take these as well, but I might leave them for now. I'm sure it's fine. Now we just need to figure out which one's which. So this one is blue. The RAM is emerald, which means this one must be ruby. We can make this one our diamond lens for the CPU wafers. I'll go ahead and make a pattern for that. And this one will eventually be the cyan. That, oh, hold on. Circuit assembler recipes. We no longer need them in this machine at low voltage. We can now put them in this one at high voltage. Medium. It's made with high voltage circuits. Ooh. So that should be... I'm not sure if we need this chemical reactor in here or not. Looking at vinyl chloride, doesn't look like it needs to be in a clean room, nor does polyvinyl chloride. Nor do the plastic circuit boards or the printed plastic circuit board. So I may actually take this chemical reactor. We can put it somewhere else. Along with this autoclave. So I figure we might as well make this energium crystal. Despite it taking 90 seconds with water. And I'll set up a little high voltage area right over here. That seems like a good idea. I'm going to pull over that cable. And this is going to be a little bit spaghetti. It's not tall enough. That's okay. I'll pull over that cable and I'll see you once I've gotten this little HV area set up. Welcome back. I guess that's for me more than you. Uh, we're on the wrong side, but I made a bolt extruder and put all my bolt patterns in here. One of which is for the blue alloy bolt. Turns out blue alloy is not something you make in the electric blast furnace. You just smelt the dust directly, which is really nice. You need the bolt to make the EV tier circuit. Over on the left, we managed to pull that cable around. I don't know if I needed to give it this one block of clearance, but just in case, I did. Oh, and the P2Ps, I ran out of P2Ps on my green channel, so I'm starting now on red. Eventually that's going to run out and I have to switch to blue and then pink. We use a lot of channels, it turns out. Or just a lot of P2Ps. Maybe not total channels used. But we've got ourselves the chemical bath, which we can now say mix with cyan dye, glass. We've got ourselves cyan dye. We can easily make. The only thing is, oh, I have a bunch of saltpeter dust. Okay. I'm gonna say I don't have any salt, but this is fine. It does put in the wrong version of sulfuric acid. I can just drag in the correct version and change the amount with a middle mouse click. So we can now finally make our cyan lens. Another day, another lens for the laser engraver. Set up the patterns for hydrochloric acid. Get us a bucket of the good stuff. For the iron 3 chloride. Meant to also claim these rewards: an HV machine hull, machine casing, both pretty good. They use a lot of stainless steel. A bucket of chlorine is nice. More iron 3 chlorine, or chloride. Let's get the vinyl chloride on the go. All right, we need ethylene. Biomass and biochaff and plant balls. This stuff takes a while to make. I did batch craft a lot of polyethylene, but not ethylene. That's something I should probably do. I'll let that be a between episodes thing. Right. And I made an HV cutter, which is an EV quest. Nice. I did go ahead and make patterns for the new processors. Tell our autoclave to start this 90-second craft for us. Yeah, there's our vinyl chloride. Let's go ahead and make an entire bucket of it polyvinyl chloride. And again, we could just use air to make a 1-to-1 for vinyl chloride to polyvinyl chloride, or oxygen to make it a slightly more favorable ratio for us. Naturally, we went with oxygen. Very nice. Bucket of ethylene, that'll help. Now we need the plastic circuit board. Plastic printed circuit board. We make these 2 at a time. The only thing I forgot to do was make patterns for this stuff. We don't yet have the system on chip, or the SoC. So we're stuck only making 3 LV circuits at a time. Looks like we can make 12 of the ULV ones at a time. And now, with this, we know that there's still an upgrade to be had here. We know 12 is the most that we can make at a time for these, so this is as good as it's getting. LV chip we're going to replace completely with this. The MV chip we'll replace with microprocessors. HV chip we'll replace entirely with microprocessor assemblies. And now we have access to the microprocessor supercomputer. So we no longer need any of these 3 patterns. Unfortunately, any pattern we had, so I made patterns for the different HV machines, they will now all fail because they won't have their circuits. Looks like we need to make a computer monitor and an assembler. Let's go ahead and start ordering these things. 23 seconds instead of like the normal 45. That's very nice. Still slow, but faster than it was. Pretty close to finishing this entire chapter now. You can make the NAND chips. These are just ultra low voltage circuits. They they actually don't get used for anything but energy converters and a turbocharger. Huh. Guess we made them because we could, but they're not useful, so I delete them. Now we need the CPU wafer and chip, and we are nearly there. We have the chip somehow, but no wafers. You can see we're starting to pile up on these old circuits. That's okay. We can go through and delete them later. Yeah, very nice. So we're making two medium voltage circuits at a time, two high voltage circuits at a time, one EV tier circuit at a time. That we should be done with high voltage. We ignored the steam turbine generator and the large steel boiler. These are optional quests. And we have power from our fusion reactor. Oh, I realized why it turned off the other day. It turns off every time the server reboots. Now that we have our advanced prospector, we can also start charging it just by putting it in any machine with a charger slot, which is all of them. Awesome. Well, I know that was a quick little episode there, but with that we've completed high voltage. Stay tuned for next time when we begin our journey into EV, extreme voltage. If you managed to make it this far, thank you for watching and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye bye.